Joe Biden, with the backing of his wife, Jill Biden, First Lady, refuses to leave office, despite the fact that the United States is involved in several foreign wars in the Ukraine, in the Middle East, perhaps soon between China and Taiwan, a nuclear North Korea, a nuclear Iran just days away. We are in significant peril. We're on the cusp of a potential nuclear holocaust with a miscalculation by any of the major players. You have the Russians circling Cuba with missile destroyers that could hit the United States within minutes. The United States itself is flexing its muscle. We are in a state of potential World War III. That notwithstanding all of our domestic issues, whether it's the border, the open border with fentanyl coming across, killing our kids, sex traffickers, human traffickers, drugs traffickers, terrorists, you name it, rampant crime, particularly in our major cities, the Gestapo of an FBI used to quell all dissent, to put people down so they can't complain about what's going on with high drug prices for pharmaceuticals, high gas prices, high food prices. People are being driven down to their knees. Very bad economically. Yet we have a president who is mentally and physically incapable of leading this country. And information is being withheld, not just from the American people, but the White House press corps, which is angry, super angry. And most of that press corps is pretty far left. You're talking about the NBC, you're talking about CBS, you're talking about ABC, you're talking about publications like the Washington Post, the New York Times, who has called for Biden to resign. They are up in arms as well. But I'll tell you who does have accurate information for sure. The intelligence services of Russia, of China, of North Korea, of Iran, and Israel, and other Western powers. They have the ability to gain that information through tapping phones, through satellite surveillance, through all kinds of methods. It's very well known. The Russian embassy, for instance, in Washington, sits on the highest hill, and they have a outpost on 16th Street, right in front of the White House. They knew when President Clinton was having that affair, if you want to call it that, with Monica Lewinsky, they knew exactly what was happening. So did the Israelis. So our foreign adversaries and even our allies know the true story with Biden. We can see it in our own eyes. We know the guy is gone physically and mentally. But our adversaries and allies know for sure they have that intelligence, yet information is being kept from the American people. And the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, continues to dodge questions, continues to say the president's fine, won't release information to any great extent with regard to his doctors, won't allow his doctors to attend press conferences, to answer questions. This is the biggest fraud and biggest cover-up in American history, and it's putting Americans' lives at risk, you and your loved ones. At the same time, and we filed this today, you can go to our website at freedomwatchusa.org. We filed a defamation lawsuit against President Biden and Biden for President, who defamed Sheriff Joe Arpaio, America's toughest sheriff, calling him a convicted felon, which he's not, to try to tar Trump. Now, we didn't file this case to help Trump or anyone else other than our client, Joe Arpaio, because he has been harmed. This results in threats against him. It has destroyed his reputation. He's running for mayor, by the way, in Arizona. But this is something which needs to be addressed. This rampant defamation, this destruction of people through the media, happens to everyone. Media has come after me. The media has come after anyone who's a public interest figure that they disagree with. But you know what? Larry Klayman and Freedom Watch, we do not turn the other cheek. We will hold them accountable. We have a media task force which does that, a strike force. And if you've been defamed by the media, please contact me at freedomwatchusa.org or leklayman@gmail.com. The misinformation that is spewed forth to deceive the American people is extremely harmful, particularly during this very difficult period and dire period in our nation's history. Go to freedomwatchusa.org. See what we're doing. See this lawsuit that we filed for Sheriff Joe Arpaio against Biden and Biden for president. See that we will stick our neck out. We do more than just get documents. We bring hard-hitting lawsuits and citizens' grand juries and citizens' trials. We've convicted Joe Biden for bribery from communist China, Ukraine, and Russia. In front of a citizen's judge in a citizen's court, he was sentenced to 20 years. So was his son Hunter and his brother James for these illegal acts. We, the American people, must rise up. It's time that we cannot depend on a corrupt government run by a bunch of criminals, court jesters, and fools on both sides of the political aisle. We must rise up peacefully and legally and do it for ourselves. God bless you, God bless America, and God save America. And please join Freedom Watch's Justice League and become part of the solution. And it better be done quick, or we're not going to have a country much longer. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, thank you for listening to me. And remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves.